Students, now you see the second lecture of advancement in leadership style, important topic, that is transformational leadership. Now different nomenclature are there. It has been developed by different authors and they have applied their mindset. What way you can influence others and what behavioral content, behavioral approach is required basically to accomplish the organizational goal. Style is purely individualistic. Theories, well trained, well defined traits, and that traits understand that traits to teach you what is the basic requirement to be a leader. But this is not the final thing. Final thing is that what way you apply it, what way you transform the organization. Leadership is not the something like that I am superior, I am the boss. Leadership is something like that what way you can influence others so that may not harmfully affect with anybody. So friends, today the next discussion of fourth module, that is advancement in leadership styles, the second lecture, transformational leadership. What are the agenda which I need to discuss today? What exactly transformational leadership? You will be seeing some of definition of different authors and historical development of transformational leadership. Who has developed this particular leadership? What are the parameters of transformational leadership? What are the characteristics of transformational leadership? How transformational leadership is transactional, different from transactional leadership? Benefits and challenges of transformational leadership. Examples of transformational leadership. Practical implications in OB. How this transformational leadership is related with organizational behavior. Why? Because your course name is Advanced Organizational Behavior. How organizational behavior can be transformed for organizational effectiveness through transformational leadership. Let us see some of definitions given by some authors. Transformational leaders motivate followers to prioritize organizational goals above their own personal goals. Transformational leaders may have a significant impact on their following. The definitions given by William and Jones 2009. If we look at transformational leadership and servant leadership side by side, we will notice that servant leaders are more focused on serving their followers, while transformational leaderships are more concerned with getting followers to participate in and support organizational goals. These are the different things. Servant leadership focus on serving their followers. Now, transformational leadership focus what way you can motivate the employees so that they involve in decision making process through which organizational goals can be achieved. Why it is important? I think that task performance is not important nowadays. Creativity is very important and it is possible through only transformation. Encourage creativity and vision, enhance employee morale and performance, fosters long-term organizational success. These are the three different issues of transformational leadership. For innovation, creativity is one of the big agenda of today modern organization. Just imagine, is it possible without transformation, without changing your present style of working, style of thinking? Now see historical background. Some people they have contributed. McGregor Barnes 1978, he developed initially the transformational leadership. He distinguished between transformational leadership and transactional leadership. Bernard Brush 1985 extended the theory, highlighting how leaders can inspire and motivate followers to exceed their expectation and capabilities. Two different people are there basically, Barnes and Brush. Furthermore, multi-factor leadership questionnaire which has been developed by this particular person Brush to measure transformational leadership suggested that transformational leaders increase followers' motivation, morale and performance. Three different things basically which prescribed by Bruss, that is motivation, morale and performance. It is possible through transformation. Now see dimensions of transformational leadership. What are the things covered under transformational leadership? I think every leadership it has some kind of difference. As servant leadership actually focus on serving the employees, act as servant, but transformational leadership motivate the employees and try to transform them, to change their mindset, to change their style of working for achieving organizational goal, which is very much needed basically as per the changing needs of environment. Idealized influence, which is given by Hay 2006, leaders exhibit a compelling vision and exemplary behavior that earn trust and admiration, inspiring others to follow. Inspirational motivation, the ability to energize and encourage individuals to commit wholeheartedly to a shared vision. Inspirational motivation. Intelligent stimulation. This is very important, intellectual stimulation. It is basically the fostering a culture of innovation and critical thinking by challenging assumptions and encouraging new ideas. This is very important. Individualized consideration, providing personalized support, mentorship and guidance to address the unique needs of each follower. So these are all the sum of things are there basically, which is called as the 4 common I: idealized, inspiration, intellectual and individualized. What exactly transformational leadership means? Now see, one of the author, Hay 2006, highlighted 6 essential dimensions of transformational leadership. I think different authors, they have identified the different dimensions, like as establishing a clear vision and goals. This is very important. Identify the goals, vision for the particular organization, which define the direction, which define the way of transform. Encouraging intellectual growth is very important. Intellectual growth is nothing that is the critical thinking, innovation, problem solving among followers. Personalized support, upholding professional values and ethics, setting high performance standards is very much clear on the slides. Creating inclusive decision making structure. I think you want to transform your organizations, leadership is required. What kind of leadership? Transformational leadership. What they do basically, what way transformational leadership lead the organizations, transform the organizations through the techniques of different process, through different ideology, understanding the change, understanding exactly what kind of value is required to transform the employees as well as organization. One of the very unique point, professional values and ethics is very important. Now things about sustainable, one can, I think that, in our lecture, in our this particular course, I have not mentioned the sustainable leadership. This one more important leadership are there basically, which much dominant nowadays, sustainable leadership. So ethics and values are very important things being a professional. I think this is why it is very important. It is very important this way basically, you want to transform without the nurturing integrity or fairness in decision making process. It's not possible to be a successful transformation leader. Now see, inclusive decision making structure is very important things. Not only particular individuals are involving, almost different group of people will be involved in decision making process. Now see, characteristics of transformational leadership. So many things are there basically, I think style of leadership is concerned. It may be clear sense of purpose, value driven, strong role, high expectations, persistent, self-knowing, perpetual desire for learning, love work, lifelong learners, as a change agent, risk taking, risk sharing, visionary, effective communicator, strategic. So many things are there basically. It's not possible being a leader and you have the all kind of traits. It's not possible basically, no. So that normally followed by transformational leadership. So one or two points I can share with you people. That is as a change agent is very important, I think that organizational development or organizational change, we need some agent basically, we need some people, those who can lead the change of organization. I think that there are several models of change, but leader is required basically to neutralize the different process of change and its practical implication is concerned. Now see transformational leadership, transactional leadership, because I think transactional leadership is also nowadays more important. Transformational leadership, they have the long term vision change. Transactional leadership basically they focus on status quo, they focus on efficiency, motivation, intrinsic motivation and inspiration. Transformational leadership, intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation means what? If you are not self motivated, you can't motivate others. That means if you are not motivated being a leader, how do you motivate others? But in the case of transactional leadership, extensive rewards and punishment, innovation, encourage creativity and risk sharing. Transformational leadership, encourage creativity and risk taking. Now see, transactional leadership, they focus on existing procedures, follow the existing procedures, relationship with employees, personal connection and development. But in the case of transformational leadership, there is formal task oriented relationship. Both are different things, 4 different parts, because transactional leadership is also one of the latest forms of leadership, but transactional leadership focus the existing procedure. But transformation leadership, they just see that what way our existing procedure likely to be changed so that we can achieve some common goal of organizations. So this is some of difference. Benefits of transformational leadership, I think one must be knowing very excellent way what kind of benefits of transformational leadership are there basically, what kind of benefits you will see. Now see that particular cases, enhance employee motivation and engagement is very important. Benefits of transformational leaderships, enhance employee motivation and engagement. Enhance employee motivation and engagement is very important. I think transformational leadership believes that without changing people, without changing existing procedure, you can't attain the organizational goal. So what is very important, you try to motivate the employees first or engage them very scientifically. Fosters innovation and creativity is one more important things. Transformational leadership, they focus on innovation and creativity, improves employee satisfaction and retention. These are all very important part of organizational behavior. Employee satisfaction, job satisfaction, retention is now very important part, since without this thing organization may not be effective organization, organizations may not enhance the performance. Builds a strong organizational culture. If you want to build a strong organizational culture, definitely you want to create the value, uniqueness of your organizations, you need the transformational leadership. Encourage employee development is very important. You need to develop your employee continuously. That's why organization is called as learning and development organization. So without this thing, it's not possible to develop your employees. That is transformational leadership. Increase productivity and performance is very important. Productivity is the ratio of input and output, but performance is linked with the effectiveness, and performance means your organization is the cost effective or not, organizations has some kind of surplus or not, organizations create value to the organizations or not. These are all part of the performance. Strengthening adaptability in changing environment is very important part. Almost all of organizations, they must be knowing exactly how we can adapt something new, adaptability. Now, criticism and challenge is very important part of any kind of leadership. I am not saying that is the important model of, I think, leadership or so-called style. It has also very important part, dependency on leader, but servant leadership, dependency on employees. So, these particular cases, leader of risks of leader dependence, that means all the time you are supposed to dependent on leader. So, now see, if you are dependent on leader, then definitely your performance may not be appropriate, your performance may not be very effective performance. Potential for burnout is very important things. There may be the chances of burnout, that because you are not giving your fullest strength basically to improve the organization. Always you are dependent on your leader. Difficulty in implementation is very important things, I think you are the top class leader, you are basically the part and parcel of the organizations, you are the person know the organizations very excellently. Now, what my submission basically, that is it feasible to implement all kind of practice, ethos, whatever is there basically, practically with the help of employees? How employees can think that employees' goal, organization's goal are similar? Can be perceived as unrealistic. Some cases people may say it is unrealistic, so many leaders are there, they may think in different way. But thing is that what we can implement it, not effective in all organization structure, hierarchical and rigid structure, I think it's not feasible to apply transformation leadership. Potential for misuse, I think it's very common, there may be the chances of unethical behavior. I think we can see, and nowadays also some kind of debate on transform the organizations by the techniques of the work-life balance. I think different types of conversation you are following in different social media and different academic discourse, but some people are saying that employee has to work more and more without seeing the their individual problems and some other things. So ultimately what happened, there may be the chances of misuse of your potential. You are getting the right benefit out of that particular contribution. This is also one of the great challenges. I think one of the very important part, through transformational leadership, is it possible to measure the efficiency of the people? Because the benefit arise out of transformational leadership, it's maybe qualitative, it's maybe quantitative, but if it is qualitative, what way you can quantify? So these are all the sum of criticism and challenges you can see. So many examples are there, friends. Transformational leadership, you can see that Walmart CEO, Doug McMillan, what way he transformed basically his organization, digital transformation, sustainability initiatives. This is very important. I think different way he just motivate the employees to be sustainable. I think Tim Cook is one of the great example of transformational leadership. What way he just fostering innovation through employee well-being and corporate responsibility. Bezos is also one of the great example of Amazon, how revolutionize e-commerce through visionary leadership and innovation. I think this is the company basically has the great chain across the globe. I think there are the some of visionary, those who have used the techniques, models or the style of transformational leadership. Now see, practical implementation is OB. I think anything we study, we just align with the organizational behavior. That first part, students develop leadership training programs is very important things. You want to transform the people, leadership is very important. Encourage open communication and feedback. Encourage open communication and feedback. Leaders should create a culture where employees are valued and heard. Open communication and feedback is very important things. Promote a shared vision. Common vision is very important. Shared vision is common vision. That means individual goal, organizational goal must be aligned. Empower employees with autonomy is very important. You just give them power. I think it's possible. Practical implementation in OB organizational behavior, recognize and reward contribution is very important. I think in OB also we just think that what way what kind of contribution being contributed by particular employees, what kind of reward we are giving to this particular person. I think why leadership, transformational leadership in OB, this is very important. I think you want to change the organization through the behavior. So ultimately that may lead the organizational success and so-called effectiveness. Now some of things: foster of culture, continuous learning, lead by example, encourage adaptability, change management, build collaborative work environment, measure leadership effectiveness. I think these are all some of very critical point of research. I think transformational leadership is one of the emerging concept of leadership. So that cases you must be knowing what way they transform the organizations, what are the benefits. Is it possible developing organizations, good culture, lead by example? That means lead by example, that means organization is confident enough to adopt this kind of things. So can organization be exemplary? Encourage adaptability, change management is also very important part, in the sense what way you can adapt something, adaptability, what way you can adapt something, and what way you can accept the change. I think leadership, transformational leadership is the power. It's basically the motivation. It is basically the way of transforming the people as well as organization. Now see, some of key questions are there basically which may help to understand exactly key components of transformational leadership, Braz and Abelio 1994 that I have discussed last different slides. How does transformational leadership differ from transactional leadership in terms of motivation and focus? Transactional leadership, as I told, they believe in transaction, existing procedure and techniques. They focus on existing practice has to be followed very systematically. This way also you can achieve the organizational goal. Name the real world example of transformational leadership and explain why they fit in this leadership style. And we have the good example like as Amazon, as I told, they are the big example. They have transformed, they have used the e-commerce business practice across the globe. What is one key benefit and challenges of implementing transformational leadership in an organizations? I think this is very important. What are the big challenges, benefit are there basically. Some of books I have suggested, and some of reading material, some kind of what I say that some reference, some research, and UG students you can see the basic thoughts. PGN scholars I am suggesting that see some of books as well as some of research, because these are all some of emerging style of leadership. So many traits are there, so many practice are there basically. So what is the best practice, without understanding the research is not possible to generalize. So thank you very much for listening.